So I just quit my job working in the NDIS call center, and it was like the single worst job I've ever had in my life. Because not only is it like stressful, like any call center job is, you're also dealing with like a level of sensitivity and subject matter that you are neither trained nor paid really enough to be handling. So most of the contact center staff are Serco employees, like roughly 1,500 Serco employees in that national contact center, doing phones and emails and web chat. And most of those people have probably been there less than 6 months. Because like when I first started, the training group that I was in, there was about 15 people. And by the time I left, 3 months later, there was about 5 people left. That's the level of attrition. That is the turnover. Because it is so hard to do that job and also exercise the level of like care and diligence and empathy that you actually want to. Because like, I think the stat that I saw is like 30% of the contact center staff identify as having a disability, including me. So, you know, naturally we want to do a good job to help our peers, but are prevented from doing so basically by the systems that we're dealing with. Like, if you actually want to do a good job, you basically have to ignore your call and email handling time KPIs. Because often, you know, actually doing a good job in terms of like diligence and care and empathy requires you to ignore your own KPIs. Because, for example, sometimes the system won't recognize all of the attachments on an email. And so in order to actually make sure you've picked up all of them, because, you know, someone might be emailing evidence for that application, or there might be a support coordinator emailing a bunch of different reports for a plan review, whatever it is. Anyway, if you actually want to make sure you've picked up all of them, you have to go into a bunch of different sections of the file. And so if you do that, your email handling time blows out and you get marked down on your KPIs. And when you're working on the phones, you often hear some really horrific shit about how badly a participant is being treated, mostly by the system, mostly by the NDIS. Like, multiple times I saw cases where participants were approved for 1 hour a day of care. That is below the legal minimum shift length. And so, of course, they couldn't get a provider to actually come and do it. So that funding just sat there unused. And this is people who need like 24/7 care, mind you, getting 1 hour a day. Like, what are they meant to just not go to the toilet all day and just wait for that 1 hour? This is what we're dealing with. The system that just grinds everyone who interacts with it into a fine paste, except for the big profiteering providers. So yeah, keep in mind that if you call the NDIS, you're speaking with someone who's paid like $28 an hour, who's not paid nearly enough for the level of responsibility that they have and should have. So yeah, that's why I quit. It fucking sucked. I got a better job. Thank fuck.
One goal of mine was, by the time I turned 30, which I turned 30 last year, and I did meet this goal, that I was going to see my way out of customer-facing customer service roles. Call center, frontline, type roles. I did that all my 20s. And I said to myself in my 30s, I'm not doing that shit anymore. So that came with a goal that I had to meet, which was to further my education. Last year, I had graduated with my 2-year degree. Mind you, all I did was get a 2-year degree. And I'm not saying all it is, because a 2-year degree is still a degree. But what I'm saying is a 2-year degree is many people's first degree. And that enabled me to get out of customer service. I got my first job in November of last year, working in a field where I'm not the frontline customer facing like call center type shit. And it has felt good ever since. I'm not gonna hold you. Walking into an establishment where you're treated like an adult and you're trusted to do your job, it is a good feeling. And when I walk in there, I'm not like, when I was walking into my call center job, I had like this blanket of stress and anxiety because I knew what the day was going to hold. I was going to take 90 phone calls. Majority of those phone calls was motherfuckers yelling and screaming at me. Like it wasn't going to be a pleasant day. And it was to the point where I was like walking into work like crying because I was just so unhappy. And I'm not saying that every job doesn't have its pros and cons. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, I wasn't going to be the frontline center anymore. Go back to school. Go get that trade. Go and enroll in that class. Like, do whatever you have to do to get the fuck out of that cycle. And I'm not talking shit about people who are still in that because some people really are built for that. I told my coworkers when I was leaving, I said, I didn't think that this job was bad. I just think that I was bad at this job. I'm not the person to be on the phones talking and doing all this, phone conversation all day long. Now, at my role now, I do like maybe 3 or 4 phone calls a day. And that's just me calling out to like converse with the person I'm trying to work with. So I encourage you to invest in yourself in whatever way that looks like, because if not, I mean, that's up to your goals and my goal. I didn't want to do that shit no more. I did not want to be in the call center. I didn't want to be entry level nothing no more. And I know that every job has an entry level, but I'm talking about like entry level, like high school education, minimum. No shame. When I get hired somewhere, I want the person to look like and be like, oh, this person obviously has a very good head on their shoulders. They went to school. They have a nice background. So yeah, invest in yourself. It can really change your life. Because now I'm at my goal. I'm at 30. I did what I said I was going to do. And now I ain't walking into work feeling like, anxiety. It's just going to be a nice day.
I wanted to talk about this job that I have that I've only had for about 5 months now. It's work from home. It's my very first work from home job. And I was really excited for it. And so the first 3 months were training. But it has been extraordinarily stressful, especially when it feels like you're a glorified call center. But basically, this has been the worst time. I have so much anxiety right before I get on the phone. I've had people call me liars. Some people are saints. They can do a call job with no problem and they can handle those people that are nasty. I cannot. I am sensitive. I cannot handle that. I can handle people being rude to me in person, but when you're stuck on a phone call with someone with nobody else around you, I cannot tell you how lonely it is and how awful it is. It feels like you're the only person in this world, and inside your own home, no. The job does pay very well. I do get kind of government-like benefits, so my headphones just made a noise. That kind of freaked me out. But if you have any questions about why it's only been 5 months and I'm already ready to get the hell out and not do this anymore. So I'm just going to take you along. I'm not quitting yet. I am quitting next week with my one-on-one. I'm going to let my manager know. She's been very sweet, very trying to be helpful, but it's not working for me. So, but I'm also going to a wedding, so I thought I'd show the beautiful wedding. So, just come along with me while I try to survive as the most sensitive person I feel like in the entire world. Because I'm literally about to start crying right now because I'm talking about all this. So I hope I have a good day, and I hope you have a good day and you can survive this. Peace.
The call center and customer service industry is coming to a collapse. And the reason why it's coming to a collapse is because there's a lot of people that's just leaving their jobs. Some people are starting to feel like they just can't do customer service. They're getting tired of being cussed out by the customers. They're tired of customers being rude to them. And they just don't want to answer those phones anymore. But in reality, people are just giving up. And can you blame them? Imagine if you was a call center agent and all you hear is a customer cussing you out, trying to debate with you, telling you that you're wrong, and you're not helping them. And then the crazy thing is that sometimes when you're dealing in customer service, those agents will say that people will call them and tell them how to do their job and tell them the answers. So if you're a customer and you calling the agent and you got all the answers, why are you calling the customer service? Make that make sense. If you know the answers to everything, what's the purpose of you calling? But they're starting to feel like they're starting to take a mental toll on them. They're starting to just want to do other things with their life. And I didn't know that this problem was happening around the world so much to the point that a lot of agents are quitting. Even though it seemed like the job was easy because it's not physical labor, but it's mental labor. And that's the part that a lot of people don't know about, you know? And they just can't do it no more. Some people just not a people person, but it's like you dealing with people to the extreme now because they're not in your face, they're over the phone. And that's even worse because people who over the phone, they can say what they want to say. They can call you all types of names, and you don't know them from a can of paint. And a lot of people will say, don't take it personal, because if you get cussed out over the phone, you don't know those people. But agents are starting to feel like it's not worth it. They don't want to get cussed out over the phone. And then it seems like those agents were stating that it's like they're getting cussed out all day, every day. And people just crashing out on them. I can't even imagine what a call center agent goes through. Can you imagine that, y'all? I want y'all to let me know. Can y'all really imagine that? And like I was stating previously, it's a lot of jobs out here that millions are walking away from. Make that make sense. That's how you know something is going on. If it's just millions of Americans just leaving their job. And then the pay is probably not even worth the headache no more. You know how they say all money ain't good money? That can happen in the case when you're working for a job. And that's the fascinating part. And then it's like they feel like they don't have nothing to do, nothing to look forward to when they get off their shift. And then they just can't do it. So let me know if you work in customer care, call center jobs, customer service, and you're just fed up with it. Because a lot of people are fed up. And that's why the industry is just coming to an end. It's collapsing. That's why AI is just replacing everything. People don't want to deal with that no more. So let me know how y'all feel about this take. Let me know if you ever worked in the call center. What was your experience like? Do you like the job? Or let me know if you don't work in a call center, customer service. Do you like calling up to the call center? Let me know how y'all feel. And that's my take on this situation. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.